Hey everybody. So it's a typical Monday night. My fiance is currently at the field playing softball with his boys. And so for me, what that looks like on a Monday is I simply just get the house reset up for a Tuesday, clean up any little messes that we've left around, hang out with my fur babies, do some schoolwork, and also just cook us some dinner for when he gets home so we could eat together. It's a nice little tradition that we started, and we think it's like super important to be able to sit down at a table and eat with one another every night. So tonight I'm going to be cooking a Tuscan shrimp with a Parmesan risotto. So come cook with me. This creamy garlic Tuscan shrimp recipe is another of my fiance's favorite dishes. It includes shrimp, cherry tomatoes, baby spinach, Parmesan cheese, extra virgin olive oil, some butter, heavy cream, basil, salt and pepper, and of course garlic. One of my favorite things about this recipe is not only the flavor, but its versatility. It can be used with multiple different proteins like chicken, steak, or any kind of fish, and is also ready in about 15 minutes, so it makes for a quick weeknight meal. This recipe can also be paired with risotto, couscous, or pasta. To begin, I like to prep all of my ingredients so they're ready to basically dump and go when needed. So first I'm going to take my shrimp, thaw it out if it was frozen, then put it into a bowl and season it with some salt and pepper. Next I'm going to take 3 garlic cloves and mince them into a little cup bowl thing, so when the time comes I can just dump it out into the pan as well. I'm going to take 1 container of cherry tomatoes next and cut them in half and put them into this lovely mason jar also, just to store them for now. Sometimes I just put them right back into the container they come in for a temporary storing space before using them in the recipe, so I don't have to dirty another dish and just make it easier. This recipe also calls for 3 cups of baby spinach, and instead of measuring it out, I just use handfuls, so pretty much 3 handfuls of baby spinach. After having that, I'm going to prepare 1.5 cups of heavy cream, a 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese grated, a 1/4 cup of sliced fresh basil, and 3 tablespoons of butter. Once you have all of your ingredients gathered, it should look a little like this. All of them are ready to go for the cooking process in their own individual containers, so as soon as I get to that step of the recipe, I can kind of just dump and continue on. Now let's grab a medium large sized skillet and add in 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. We're going to heat the oil on medium-high heat until it's simmering and shiny and able to coat the bottom of the pan easily. Once the oil's hot, let's add in our shrimp and cook them for about 2 minutes per side until they're opaque and cooked through. I like to make sure that they're not overlapping and have enough space so each individual shrimp is being cooked, but you can do it however you want. Once the shrimp is cooked, remove it from the skillet, then add in your butter and let it melt down. And at this point, you're also going to want to scrape the bottom of that pan to bring up any little brown bits that may be sticking. It just adds in a little bit more of the flavor, and I don't know. It's just something I was taught in culinary school, so it's what I do. You can choose to do it or not. It's up to you. Once the butter's completely melted, add in your garlic and stir it around until it's fragrant, which is usually takes about 1 minute. Next, we're going to dump our halved cherry tomatoes and get those sizzling. We're going to want to wait and leave them alone for a few minutes until they're just about to burst. Once they get to that point, which you can take your spatula or whatever cooking utensil you choose to use for this recipe, press down on the tomatoes. If they deflate easily or dent or burst, they're ready and you can move on to the next step. At this point, add in your baby spinach, give it a good stir, and allow it to begin to wilt. You can either move on to the next step once it begins to wilt or wait till all of it is wilted. I usually let it wilt fully before moving on to the next steps, but again, you can do whatever you want. Next, we're going to pour in our heavy cream, Parmesan, and basil. Give that a good stir again and allow the sauce to come to a simmer. Once it's simmering, lower the heat to low and let it sit for about 3 minutes. This will give the sauce time to cook and incorporate all those yummy ingredients so that you taste them all in one bite. Lastly, we're going to add back in the cooked shrimp and let it simmer for about 1 more minute to reheat them. After the Tuscan shrimp is complete, remove the pan from the heat or place on the lowest setting to keep it warm. I prefer to remove from the heat so the shrimp doesn't overcook while I prepare the sides because it quickly heats back up. I know I said I was going to make Parmesan risotto at the beginning of this film, but I actually saw some Parmesan couscous and decided to make that instead. So I'm just going to cook this up according to the package instructions.